Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the third round of the 1955 season, the Indianapolis 500. It was held on the 30th of May, it had 51 entries, 33 of them took part in the race, and there were 19 retirements including the death of Bill Vukovich. Jerry Hoyt started the race from pole with Tony Bettenhausen in second, Jack McGrath was third, Fred Agabasian fourth, and starting from fifth was Bill Vukovich. Bob Schweikert won the 1955 Indy 500. Bettenhausen gave his car to Paul Rousseau, who finished in second, 2 minutes 43.56 seconds behind the leader. Jimmy Davis crossed the line in third, he was 3 minutes 32.36 seconds behind. Johnny Thompson finished fourth, he was 3 minutes 38.91 seconds behind. And Walt Faulkner gave his car to Bill Homeyer, who finished in fifth, 5 minutes 17.17 seconds behind the leader. The fastest lap was posted by Bill Vukovich, and it was a 1 minute 3.67 second lap. And we are once again back at the world famous Indianapolis Speedway for the famous 500-mile race, and I once again find myself having to say the exact same thing about the circuit. It's comprised of 4 corners, 2 very long straights and 2 shorter straights. Speed and the ability to slipstream are extremely important here, and there's only so many times I can repeat that line before it gets old. Oh wait. And here we are in qualifying for the Indianapolis 500, and our first lap is a 1:12.2, walk very slow. Juan Manuel Fangio posted a 1 minute 7, so we're quite off the pace, but hopefully we can improve on that. Well, we do, but only by a little bit, a 1:12.189, not very good, and unfortunately this was my fastest lap. Because I don't know, despite the fact that I kept using up my fuel and my car was getting lighter, it just went slower and slower. And we just saw the previous Indianapolis 500 winners, and now we have the grid walk we have Fangio on pole, Sterling Moss on second, Eugenio Castellotti third, Trintignant fourth, Piero Taruffi rounding off the top 5. Next we have Jean Berra in 6th, Nino Farina 7th, followed by Roberto Mieres in the Maserati in 8th, Carl Kling is 9th, Luigi Musso 10th, André Simon is 11th, followed by Cesare Perdisa in 12th, Umberto Malioli 13th, 14th is held by Tony Rolt in the R.03 Walker, 15th is Jose Froilan Gonzalez in the blue Ferrari, followed by Paul Frere in 16th, 17th is Louis Chiron in the Lancia, Luigi Villoresi in the other Lancia is 18th, Mike Hawthorne 19th, Jacques Paulet is 20th, 21st is Lance Macklin, Harry Schell in 22nd, 23rd Elie Bayol, 24th is Andy Higgs, followed by Louis Rosier in the Écurie Rosier in 25th, 26th is Pablo Birger, 27th Roy Salvadori, 28th Lance Marr, Horace Gold 29th, Jack Brabham 30th, Ken McAlpine 31st, and Jesus Iglesias 32nd. So here we are back at the Indianapolis 500, and it's the Indianapolis 500. Hopefully this race will go a little bit better than the previous 2 races this season, because there's only been a couple of finishers up until now, so maybe we can do a little bit better here. The start was a bit iffy, but I was trying to be as cautious as possible. More cars means more possibilities of me losing the car and crashing horribly, so I tried to be as cautious as possible. And as we come out of turn 2 and go into turn 1 and going into turn 2, we move up into 12th from 24th, so that's a huge leap. And here we have another look at the start. A bit messy. I lost, there was a bit of smoke coming off my wheels, but we managed to pull away. Again, I was trying to be as cautious as possible because the AI is quite unpredictable. You'd think that on a circuit that is this easy, the AI would do better, but no. And unfortunately, we will have a lot of retirements once again, but I'm not going to spoil it all for you just yet. As we now have a look at Roberto Mieres. Sorry about the pixelation, but this was the only way I could get close enough to see what's happening. And there, one of the Simcas crashed into Mieres's car, and he lost his wheel, and he's out of the Indianapolis 500. And here we see Lance Macklin in the Sterling Moss Limited crashing into the R.03 Walker, which is driven by Tony Ralt. And here we see Tony Ralt losing control of his car, crashing, hitting the wall there, at the upper part of the turn there, and there was Macklin coming and collecting him and so both of them are out. That is Luigi Voleresi losing control of his Lancia, driving into the upper part of the wall and ending his race. There were more crashes following that. However, they were in a place where I couldn't really show you, so unfortunately you won't see them. It was just behind a static camera, so everything that happened behind the camera, so there was no reason to record that, because you couldn't have seen anything, unfortunately, as we are now on lap 6 and up in 5th place out of 32 drivers. Quite a few have retired already, and now we see another one, Piero Taruffi, who crashes into the wall, loses his front right, and is out of the Indianapolis 500. So the retirements rack up slowly but surely. And here we see Jack Brabham in his Cooper losing control and kind of going past to the right of the screen there. I'm not sure what exactly happened. And here we have Eugenio Castellotti losing control of his Lancia, and there one of the Mercedes came around and collected him. Not entirely sure who it was, but I'm sure we will find out soon enough. And we are now on lap 7, chasing after Carl Klink, who is in 3rd. We are in 4th, incidentally. And this is Mike Hawthorne, who loses control of his brakes and kind of went off screen there. And here we have Sterling Moss crashing into the Lancia we saw earlier, so that's what happened there. We are now on lap 8 and we are looking at a lapped car. Not sure, it's a Simca, but I don't know who it is. And here we see Umberto Maglioli losing control of his car, crashes into the wall, and that's the end of his race. And then we see Harry Schell. Sorry, that's Harry Schell in the Ferrari 555 losing control of the car, hitting the wall and ending his race as well. Then we have Cesare Perdisa, who also loses control of the car, crashes into the wall. There we see him in the background, standing right next to the wall. And on lap 10, I don't know what the guy was doing, but he crashed into me. I lost control of the car. Thankfully my car is intact, so we are good to go, but that was quite scary. It could have ended really badly. And this is Carl Klink coming around and crashes into someone, and unfortunately loses his front wheel, so he is out of the race as well. And well, the retirements keep racking up as we come around to, and we are approaching another retired person. And here we see McAlpine crashing into the wall, losing his front left or right wheel, one of them, and he is also out of the race. Next we have Paul Frere, who somehow finds himself in the pit lane and for some reason decided to drive into that huge column there for whatever reason. Your guess is as good as mine, I guess, as to why that happened. And here we have Jacques Poyet in his Simca losing control of his car, crashing into the wall, losing his front wheel, and his Indianapolis 500 is over as well. So we are now on lap 22 and up in second place at this point. Juan Manuel Fangio is leading the race. He's some 22 seconds in ahead of us, and we see André Simon in the Mercedes crashing into that green Maserati and loses his front wheel, so Simon is out of the race as well. And we are chasing after Juan Manuel Fangio. We managed to close in the gap a bit to about 15.5 seconds, and here we see Pablo Birger losing control of his Simca Gordini. He then tries to get back onto the track. Unfortunately, he crashes into that light green Maserati and his race is over, and we now caught up with Juan Manuel Fangio, and we are about to overtake him as we come through the final corner of lap 27, and indeed we managed to overtake him, so we move up into the lead of the Indianapolis 500, which is okay, I guess. Then on lap 40 we come around to lap Juan Manuel Fangio. By this point there's only Andy and Fangio on the race, so in the race, so I cannot show you anything else. There were other retirements obviously, but most of them happened in places you couldn't see what happened, so there was no point in showing them. And on lap 53 I come around to lap Juan Manuel Fangio once again, and here we are finally on lap 69 coming around to take the win of the Indianapolis 500. Juan Manuel Fangio will eventually finish in second, and well, those are the results. And we see that André Simon somehow managed to post the fastest lap of the race despite retiring quite early on in the race, I believe. And here we have the retirements. Obviously 30 people out of 32 didn't make it to the end of the race. Well, Eli Bayol kind of made it. He was 17 laps behind everyone, but because he was so far behind everyone, I decided to just put him on the retirement table. I didn't see any reason to count him as a finisher. But yeah, so that was the Indianapolis 500. Quite an interesting result. I would have expected a little bit more from the AI, but what do I know, right? Anyway, here are the career statistics, and this was Andy's 45th Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 3 pole positions, has posted 9 fastest laps, his best finish is first, has completed 29 races, 27 of them in the points, has won 17 races, 3 of them at the Indianapolis 500, 1 in Monaco, has 3 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 182 points, has 16 retirements, has experienced 981 out of 1,273 laps, has 5 bronze trophies, 2 silver trophies, 17 gold trophies, and as an extension 17 podiums. And here we have a very quick look at the championship standings. Obviously Higgs is pulling away from everyone quite significantly. He now has 25 points. Umberto Maglioli, Pole, and Juan Manuel Fangio, all 3 of them on 6 points, with Nino Farina and André Simon on 1 point. So this season is turning out to be quite one-sided. I don't think there's a lot of chances left for the AI to try and catch up. There are 4 more races in the season, and as I said at the beginning of the Monaco Grand Prix, the top 5 results from the 7 races counted, so that means only 2 of the points will be dropped, which gives Andy a huge advantage in this situation, considering that everyone who scored points only managed to score once, except Andy obviously. So yeah, it really looks like this is going to be a very one-sided season, so not really sure what to say about that. But anyway, our next race is the Belgian Grand Prix. Usually that's one of the races where, at least up until now, about half or at least close to half the field managed to complete the race. So we'll have to see if that will hold true this time as well. I doubt it based on the results thus far, but who knows, we might see some surprises yet. But anyway, that is it from the video. That is it from me, from the Indianapolis 500. Yeah, I guess it was an expected result considering how things are moving this season. So anyway, don't forget to vote for next season's team. Link is in the description. I also have a second channel where I will be playing different games. Right now I'm doing a playthrough of Need for Speed Underground, so if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description to that as well. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.